Okay, today we are here with One Piece chapter 1130, The Accursed Prince. We see Yamato after the uh, training of Tama, I do believe it was, laying down, relaxing. A dark hand is grabbing the sword. Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 17. Sword got stolen during nap time. Yeah, so while they're napping, sword got stolen. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. All right. Page 1. Um, all right, so it starts with Frankie and the rest of the crew who wasn't taken by Rhodes, Bird, Mugen. I believe that was named Mugen. Telling the giant pirates to go, allow us to catch back up, and we'll find each other together when we get to Elbaf eventually. Next page, it's Luffy properly being excited and seeing at least part of Elbaf. They are up on a mountain with a drawbridge going up into the skies. And they see more giants coming down, which are members of the new giant warrior pirates, like Road. You have Gerd, the doctor, and Goldberg, the cook. And we also get a new laugh, Goldberg's laugh, which is dig yeg 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 yeg. So, following the theme of giant laughs being along a similar vein. And they admit to seeing the bird carrying the Thousand Sunny. So, and also they call Road, at least Gerd calls Road, and I quote, Loki's not the shame of Elbaf, it's him. So they call Road the shame of Elbaf instead of Loki. So I think that's interesting. On page, what is this, 5 now? Yeah, 5, counting the cover page, so page 4 of the actual chapter. Luffy isn't properly hiding. And they're celebrating because they realized they are now at Elbaf as well. And obviously Sanji's freaking out because Gerd is pretty. But they weren't officially seen, so that's good. Stop making noises, phone. Turn off sound. Hopefully that'll solve the issue. Alright, next page. You have them trying to cross the bridge, but it shakes a lot. And they're trying to hurry so that they don't run into the giants again. I think... Okay, yeah, they just say giants. Because apparently they didn't catch the part where they're talking about Road as if they know him, and they didn't recognize them as parts of the new giant pirates. Which is fine. Nami's the only one with a brain cell proper in this group, so... And I don't think she knows that crew very well. Emphasis on how big the gaps in the bridge are, because obviously they're little comparatively, while Luffy is walking along the rope. And Luffy feels something tingling on the last panel. Next page. Sanji says he's not going, and he stops Zoro from going, because you're not setting foot in any forest in the entire world. So, continuing the gag of him always getting lost. Luffy says it's who he heard roaring in the Block Kingdom, which I don't remember what exactly he's referring to in that. So let me know if you do. That'd be an interesting thing. And he jumps off the bridge because he doesn't take fall damage in this game. People are freaking out because he jumped off. On the next page, they received the newspaper, and it included the giant pirates in attacking Egghead. The bounty posters are too small for Dory and Broggy to see. However, they have updated posters. Robin says, and I quote, "I'll read it for you. The giant pirate crew returns after a century of slumber, with Emperor Straw Hat Luffy. They set the seas around Egghead aflame. The captains of the giant pirate crew, Broggy the Red Ogre and Dory the Blue Ogre, are each worth a bounty of 1.8 billion berries." So their berries jumped up a lot for helping Luffy escape, which is good to see. They are worth a lot. Inflation has kicked their ass, and a century of training essentially, also helps. On the next page, we have them reacting to the number 1.8 billion. I don't think we were back in action. You were each at 100 million back in the day, right? That's a big jump. So that is over 10 times about a bounty jump of 10x plus some. Actually, that might be 18 if I'm doing my math right. So Robin continues, "Of course, inflation means the currency value has changed a lot in 100 years. Like I just said. It seems appropriate for an Elbaf warrior chieftain now. Meanwhile, Captain is the culprit who murdered Vegapunk." What? Nani? Right? And then obviously you have the people complaining about how it's nothing but lies. And York, God. Lilith, the evil, finds it funny that he's the one being blamed, while the others are wondering when the picture was taken. And it's interesting that it has the X on his arm while he's doing a version of the Nika pose in the picture, with a picture of Vegapunk beside him. On the next page 9 of the chapter proper, when Luffy turns into his free form, Robin continuing, "Does this mark appear on his arm? Does it? I think this is someone else, don't know who. Does it? He's usually moving around so much I've never gotten a good look. It seems unnatural to me. His hand is blurred, but the mark is crystal clear. Strange detail to focus on," says Frankie. "It just seems familiar to me," says Robin. Which is pretty interesting because she's the only one of the group here who would know of the mark. However, she wasn't one of the ones with the X. So that's a nice little detail that she semi-recognizes it. The Giants are commenting on how it's cool that Luffy is an emperor. And Harudin, however you say his name, used to be a giant warrior pirate, which is pretty cool. Although, if I remember right, he's only in his 90s? So I don't know how well that works out timeline-wise. I might make a comment about it if I look up his age. If I remember to look up his age. Oh, Harudin is the son of the king. However, the new giant pirates weren't allowed to go. Interesting. Ah, okay. Trouble on Elbaf. Nice, nice. Are we going to be told about it? Looks like we will on the next page. It happened while the captains were away. You see, in Elbaf. The king had another official child, known as the Accursed Prince. I'm assuming that's going to be Loki. He committed all manner of evil acts, and was sentenced to crucifixion a few years back, but nearly escaped his punishment. It took all of our warriors to get him under control. So he's very powerful and or tricky. Good to know. And they claim that he's crazy, got a few screws loose. His desperate desire for legendary devil fruit passed down through the Elbaf royal line led him to kill his father, King Harold, and eat the fruit. Okay, so he does have a devil fruit of some sort. That is famous at least among the giants of Elbaf. The next time that Loki, the Accursed Prince, is unleashed, the world will be brought to ruin. Interesting. We then get a almost full double page spread where I'm assuming Luffy is looking at Loki, chained to a tree. He's asking for him to be named. He says his thing. I'm Luffy, the man who'll be king of the pirates. King? Where am I and who are you? And then we get the double page, no, not quite full double page, of the reveal of Elbaf proper. This is the Warland Elbaf's Kingdom of Warriors, the most powerful nation in the world, which once lived and breathed warfare. You get the giant tree, which I'm assuming is Yggdrasil proper, or the treasure tree Adam, one of the two. There is a sword sticking out of the ground up through the first canopy of the tree, which is interesting. Someone is saying it's shaking. And there's also some buildings up in the top canopy as well. And a waterfall coming out of it. Cool. And Loki says he is the sun god who brings the world to an end. Loki. That's the end of the chapter. Very interesting. I'm going to look up a couple things I said I would. First off, Dean, One Piece. How old is he? He is... They already have it updated. Nice. He is age 81. So he's not in his 90s. Okay. He's age 81. Which means he would have joined the pirates after the captains were already fighting. Which is interesting. Also, I love how the wiki article is already updated to him being a prince, the son of late King Harold. So that's nice. What was the other thing I was going to look up? I don't remember. let me look back through it right quick and I might remember. Actually, I guess I can look this up. Is it Tama? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Tama. I'm pretty sure I have the right name. And it was Tama with Yamato. And I'm assuming the person stealing the sword is also the person that was kidnapping people. So, good to know. So yeah, 1.8 billion. Let me see if my math was correct. Right quick. 1.8. Yeah, so it would have been 18 times more. So that's good to know as well. So they had an 18 times multiplier due to inflation and helping Luffy. I would assume is also part of it. We also finally get to see Loki, which is awesome. And also, he calls himself the Sun God, which I would assume that means the fruit he took from his father has something to do with the Sun God as well. We know Luffy has the Sun God fruit proper, and it looks like Loki's eyes might be glowing underneath the wrap in that last panel as well. So that's good. And Loki saying he's the Sun God will probably lead to Luffy having to reveal himself as such. Also, I would be surprised if the picture of Luffy with the X on his arm doesn't inspire new tattoos from people who haven't already gotten that tattoo. Which I eventually plan on getting when I'm financially stable enough to do that. Sorry about last week and the fact that the last few before that weren't out. Hopefully, by the next chapter, which actually, by the way, when is the November 10th? So that's skipping a week, right? No, that's off several weeks. 1, 2, 3 weeks. So it's going to be off for roughly a month. I would assume that's at least partially because of Jump being off for something. Although I don't know, I'm just speculating. Normally it's not that much. Though. However, it's also a good stopping point for him to figure some other stuff out. So, we don't know. Anywho. So, hopefully before the next chapter I can get some stuff figured out. So I can have a better setup going on. Because I have some stuff coming that will help have a better background for my avatar. That isn't the default animated background. But yeah, overall, good chapter. I can't wait to see what his devil fruit actually is. Again, he says he's the Sun God. So my assumption is it's going to have something to do with... It's going to be something similar to Luffy's fruit. Right, it's going to be another one similar to Bellamy's or Katakuri, where it gives similar properties, but it's not the same for the rubberiness. Or, and I think this will be pretty cool, it will be a different legendary human, different mythical human, which is more so what I am leaning towards for that. But until we see more, I can't really speculate on anything other than the fact that his eyes were glowing. But that could just as much be for dramatic effect as it is, like actual, I need to stop doing that. As much as it is like a hint towards what his powers could be. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But until next time I'm able to upload, I might try to do something before the next chapter comes out. Probably. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, be yourself.